So welcome back to the channel. We've got something a little bit different going on today. We're going to go and have a look at some tanks being made. So this is a bit of an in-between job because we've finished harvesting the malting barley now. It's all round baled and then we'll get them all collected. And this is what we're looking at. This is a 30,000 litre water tank, and this is what we use to harvest our rainwater off the roofs. So we've got 3 of these around the farm, and the total amount we can hold is about 100,000 litres. So we're pretty good on that. And one of the things I've been wanting to do on the wash bay, I'd like to build like a volume wash. So basically we need like a smaller one of these around the back of the pressure washer container, and then we'll have like a 3-phase pump inside of the container, then with like a fire hose outside. So then we can wash like large pieces of equipment down that are, you know, pretty mucky in that. And I just need the volume of water to be able to shift some of the dirt. So that's what I'm wanting to do. If I don't put a tank in, we won't have the water pressure to be able to run that amount of water. So that's why we need a, you know, like a 1,000 litre tank or a 5,000 or a 10,000 litre tank to give us that volume of water. So we're going to go across to Enduramaxx today, and we've been very kindly let to film to have a look at the tanks all being made, and then I can have a look and see which tank we're going to want. So let's go. I hope you all enjoy it. Don't forget to subscribe. So we've come today to Enduramaxx down Baston Fen, which is quite local to me, and I've got to basically have a look at some different size tanks and choose which one I need really. But whilst we're here, I thought it would be a good opportunity to have a look at how these tanks are made, because they're all made in the UK, and I think it's quite relevant to what we do on our farm. We already run these tanks, as you probably well know, for our borehole and our rainwater harvesting. And I thought it'd be interesting because they're actually making 120 of these tanks a day at this site here. So we've got our moulds behind us. They're all like the different moulds. They'll make up to 30,000 litres. And I've worked with them for quite a few years, and we've had 30,000 litre tanks on the farm quite a number of years, and we're getting on well with them. Enduramaxx are the only makers of 30,000 litre tanks in the UK. So we're going to have a look. The tank we've got behind us at the moment, that one there is actually only that's only a small one, but just behind there they've got a 25,000 litre tank on at the moment. So we're just going to go and have a look at that and watch it go into the oven. So you can see behind us we've got this big 3 oven. So basically there's a big oven in the middle that heats up to about 250 degrees, and it's a 3-way oven. So this one here this tank's actually cooling down at the moment. It goes into the oven for about an hour, and then that one's just obviously come out because it's spinning around for the next half an hour just to cool it down. So if we look over this side, there's a smaller tank just there, but we're interested in going around the other side to have a look at the 25,000 litre tank, of the process of how they put the polyethylene into it, put it into the oven, and then basically just spin it round at 250 degrees to make a tank. So this stuff here is a polyethylene, and this is black. You can get whatever colour you want because you can colour code the polyethylene to basically whatever colour, whether you want JCB, yellow, black, brown, whatever you want, you can get it. But the most common is black. So how this works is you'd lift about 600 to 650 kilos of polyethylene, and you would load it into the mould a bit like you would the drill. So you'd load it in basically in like a seed sock, where you'd open the bottom, load it inside, pour it in, and then what you do then, you put the mould back upright, and then we put the lid on. So you've got to go around, do all the clamps up, make sure it's all clamped tight together, and then you basically seal the whole thing. And then from there, we're then going to go into the oven. And when it's been in the oven, it basically comes out, spins around like we've just seen over there, half an hour, and then what happens is we go up, we take all the clamps off the lid then comes off the top, and we can then see the tank ready to come out, and basically it just near enough drops out. We're going to take it out with the crane, so we're going to hook the crane onto the end of it, and then we're going to slowly pull it out. And then when the tank's out, to reduce the inside basically the temperature inside, because this is still very, it's not like I can touch it, it's warm, but we basically put compressed air inside the tank and leave it to run for a bit, just to get the temperature down before it's moved outside. And it's as simple as that, really. Basically put some polyethylene in a tank, spin it round, get it hot, and then this is what we get. We get one of these, and this is our rainwater harvesting tank, basically. And this is good because obviously as the environment changes over time, I feel it's important that we invest in this sort of thing to you know, harvest our rainwater, because obviously soft water is far better to use in the sprayer than what it is hard water out the mains tap, and that the chemical is a lot more efficient when we use soft water. So these pay for themselves pretty quickly. So this one looks quite unique because you can actually get 2 tanks on each swivelly thing. Look, so that one's got 2, that one's got 2, that one's got 2. So every hour this oven here is making like 6 tanks. And obviously this is the one that's just come out of here, look. So this one here is these 2 tanks have just come out of that mould, and now they've got the compressed air in the top, just cooling the inside down. And then like any imperfections like that, chap over here, just seen him, he goes around with like a Stanley knife and just scrapes it off and checks for any defects or anything. If you get any defects or whatever, they actually get recycled. So they'd actually get cut up. So I had a tank once, many years ago, and I think my dad drove into it and it split it. And instead of I didn't realise at the time we could repair it. We actually chopped it up, and you can grind it up and recycle it. I mean, that's the short version of it, but you can actually recycle it and put them back into a powder and put it back in. So I've got 3 tanks on that lorry, not lorry, Iveco van, and then 2 big ones on there. And they were saying that they have to get movement orders all the time, because obviously the bigger tanks are so wide. God, it's really windy today. Let's go inside and have a look at this other. So this here is another oven, but this one's obviously quite a lot smaller. But I'm led to believe this is the most modern one. And this stuff here they're putting in, this is actually a blue dye this time. So these will be blue tanks coming out for like water or any other bits. Well, they could be going anywhere, any usage at all. Quite unique. There's quite a lot of engineering in that, isn't there, when you think about it? Having to spin round. You know, the process of actually having to have put all this together, you know, and thinking, oh, we're going to spin this round at this speed, at this temperature to make a tank. There's years of knowledge gone into this sort of stuff. Very interesting though. So I think from here we'll go across to one of the other sites. We're at the north site at the moment, and we're going to go across to the south site to see one of the tank holding areas and have a look at where they like basically put all the stickers on. They drill all the holes to whatever size outlet or inlet you want, whether you have holes halfway up for aeration. There's so many different things you can have. So we've seen the manufacturing process now. Very interesting, and I'm sure there's a lot of technology in it that they won't reveal to me, but yeah, it's very interesting. We've come to one of the other sites now. There's 4 sites just around here, and this is one of the tank holding areas. So you can see we've got like little blue ones, little 300 litre one. That's not really any good for what we're using for. You see massive amount of tanks over there. I mean, there's tanks all over the place, whatever shape and size you need, it's got. But that is why I'm here to have a look, you see. If we look over here, I was just looking at these are rainwater harvesting tanks. And this has obviously been cut out like this because it's a bit of I don't know if it's a show tank or whether it's a custom tank. This here is like your silt trap that goes on top, so we'd have one of them coming out the gutters on the roof, and it basically takes the silt out so it doesn't fill the tank full of muck. I mean, this one here looks pretty perfect because it's on a stand, so that, you know, that might be quite good. But then, you know, we've got the added extra of a stand. Do we really need that? I don't know. Also as well, I learned quite a number of years ago, these parts here, they're called Castlemax technology. So basically, usually you'd like put an inlet like just there or an outlet, but what it actually does, it compromises this part of the tank. So it's like probably 100, 200 litres of the tank that can't be used. So that's why these bits are here. So you could put the inlet just there. So then you actually get the full capacity of the tank. So yeah, interesting. What else we got around here, look? I mean, I'm not going to need one like that, it's far too big. It's like a feed silo tank, isn't it? I mean, you can spend all day looking around these. Just behind us, we've actually just been in and had a look at where all the custom tanks are made. So if you've got like an order that's custom, whether it be the colour, whether you want inlets in different places, or, you know, because they do moulding as well. So you can, it's a bit like plastic welding. So that goes on in there. The big 30,000 litre tanks in there, you can get different outlets welded on. So you basically have whatever you want. And you know, what outlet do I need? I don't know. Will they drill me a hole and put something different on? We probably need quite a big outlet. Well, not too big, probably about like that. That'll probably do for what I need, but not really sure. And then they've got all the little plastic tanks being fitted out in there as well. So there's a lot more going on here than what you actually think. So this one here is probably the size of tank that I'm after, but I think this one's actually an underground tank. So do we dig a hole and put it in so we can't see it? I don't really know. Do we have a round one? Do we go for a bigger 10,000 litre, 7,500 litre, just to give us enough capacity in the future? Because I don't really know. You know, if we ever have like a wheel wash where we put some ramps on the wash bay, we might need like a bigger capacity for something like that. It's something to think about in the future. No end of times I've built something and have built it too small, and then a few years later end up having to pull it to bits and go bigger anyway. So do we go big or go home? I don't really know at this moment in time. This one's obviously quite high. We wouldn't, I don't know. No, that's not really good. Are these 30,000? These are obviously quite the big ones. Oh look, we've got one loading up. Hall Agriculture, we know who these are. Come through here, look. You see down there, it's got like a stainless bottom on it as well. That's got nitrosol, so that's amazing who you see at these sorts of places. Yeah. Martin Hall.
You all right, how are you?
All right, Martin, move the combine for me.
Yeah, back in the winter we're there sometime, wasn't it?
Yeah, we used it for the first time last week. Are you on straw yet?
Yeah, we're on straw. I think baling today is our first day. So yeah,
but you're moving tanks?
Moving tanks, yeah. We're going to Derbyshire with tanks.
Oh yeah?
So yeah, that's where we're going. But
not bringing hay or anything back from
there?
No,
hay's done. It's all stacked up in the shed where it needs to be. But yeah, got a bit of straw baling today, and then yeah, go from there. A few combines on the move. Yeah. A lot going on. Busy time of year, isn't it?
How many Arctics you got going now?
7 Arctics in the wagon and drag as well.
Are you really?
Yeah. So
you've done very well.
No, it's not too bad, but the wagon and drag's proving perfect for these tanks. It's handy.
Do you move these a lot then?
Yeah, a fair bit, yeah. 4 or 5 load a week probably, maybe, yeah.
Do you have to have movement orders for the big ones?
Yeah, we do for these wide ones, like this white one here. Yeah, we get movement orders in, special movement orders in for them, so yeah.
All right.
Good,
right, nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, mate. Have a good day.
So back from Enduramaxx now. It's given me a bit of an insight. Hope you've enjoyed having a look around that. This is the area here, so I've been thinking on the way back, probably a 5,000 litre tank can go between them 2 containers, and then we can pipe it into the pressure washer container. And then just over here, I'm thinking I can have like a fire hose that we put on there basically, and then the electric pumps inside. And then we've obviously got a pressure washer and air and all sorts of other bits and bobs. But I'm still not sure where to get a electric pump from. I think a 3-phase one will be best because it will give enough power. And then I've got to get some sort of fire hose. I'm not really sure. But I think we've got the tank sorted now, so I'll be able to, like I say, 5,000 litre tank on the back there. I don't think much bigger really, or else I'll end up having to move that container and it'll probably look a bit out of place. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you very much for watching that video. Hope you've all enjoyed it. And don't forget to keep subscribing. And Enduramaxx details are in the link in the description. Thank you very much to them for letting me film and have a look round. And we'll see you all in the next video. See you later. Bye-bye.